Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope you're excited for an amazing 2024. Hope you enjoyed your holidays. All right, we're going to look at a couple charts, but the main purpose of this video is we're going to go through the Discord and talk about exactly how the information is presented in there, how it's structured, and what you're getting as a member of the LATF. Because I think there's a lot of people that just also don't even know what Discord is, and maybe it's a little intimidating. Maybe they've created an account before and gone into some random Discord. So we'll run through it, but in the meantime, or killing two birds with one stone, we'll look at a few charts as well, because that's how we'll give an example. So I'm in this GLMR long, for example. You know, we had this nice sweep of the lows, price it up 11% here from the reclaim, 14% from the bottom. So here's, you'll see some writing on the page, but what we're going to go do is we're going to go back to the original chart here about 4 or 5 days ago. And we're going to start the process of how charts are shared in the Discord and ideas. All right, so this is back some days ago. I was doing a bunch of altcoin charts, and here in these updates, it's not like, oh, I'm taking this trade right now, I'm taking this trade. A lot of times this will be days, weeks, and in some cases it could be months depending on the time frame of the setup in advance, where I'm planning out my trades, setting up alerts, so explaining what I'm looking for. And so the process of this is to share how I would apply the things that you can learn in the Discord, and we'll go through this in a second, to live charts, okay? So I'm charting out my ideas on a live chart. These are the trades I'm interested in. So I got a request for this coin. I was taking requests that day. So first, just identifying the high time frame structure of Glimmer, which I did. We won't go too deep into this. And then what I was looking for locally. So I said, ultimately, I would only be interested in trading GLMR in two cases. We nuke, or we consolidate, build some structure, and then I would look for this type of setup here. That's on the 4-hour chart. So we're just going to go through the process. You're going to see a bunch of other charts here too. Some of these are setups that haven't played out yet. Some of them are setups I've taken. But anyways, so here, the next day we have the impulse. I said, you can check the reply for the original chart. That just means you can click here. Now that GLMR is starting to form some structure with a pivot low put in, I can adjust my levels and set alerts and look for a long setup. So now I have my levels pulled. This is still on the 29th, so 4 or 5 days ago. So now I'm saying this was the general idea. Now we have the low, we have the high coming in. I'm looking for this long setup here. So I'm just updating that process. I'm doing that on all these different alt charts, Bitcoin, so on. So this is just one component of the Discord. I'm going to talk about the other components shortly. So then as the trade is coming into play, then in the Bitcoin trades channel, so you can see here there's a bunch of channels. They're all under headings: educational content, T1 members channels, and my update. So these are read-only update channels. These are channels for you guys to chat in. These are educational content channels, and you can break down the headers, but they're all labeled alt trades, alt charts. So charts, then when the live execution comes into play, we go over to trades. So here we have the Glimmer trade, right? So we're coming down and we're taking the low. I say we're reclaiming this low. I think it's reasonable to take a small long position here, but we haven't quite tapped the key level below. So I would be prepared to trade this smaller locally and prepare for that second sweep for another position into the actual level, right? Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of updates here. So for example, here's me talking about INJ on this sweep. Still think it's perfectly reasonable to have longs from down here up into these highs. If we run over to the INJ chart really quickly, we could find tons of great setups. This is, I'm potentially looking for a short setup here, by the way, but this is this long down here. So that update was just, somebody was asking if I think this level is still relevant support because we've tested it twice now. I said, absolutely. I think it's perfectly reasonable to have longs from here. Pushing up still into this is the target, right? Around 40.8. So we're tapping that target now. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this level. I'll do an update if I take the short. I've already explained that I'm looking for this short. If we can take these highs, reject, see some weakness, happy to take a short, great target for the long. But anyways, let's go back to the Discord here. But you can see this is all drawn out right here. This is that level longing. What's the target? Right up into this level, taking these highs. That's where we are right now, right? And I made a video on this whole idea as well, right? So I do put in a lot of effort to actually explain the concepts over and over and over again. Look, looking for a short retracement, if we start channeling into fibs, this is a nice idea. I'm marking out, annotating. This is the level that we're at right now on INJ, but this isn't about INJ. We're just going through the process of how charts are updated. This basic GLMR structure still looks reasonable for longs here. We've come down and we've tapped this level perfectly, right? So it was drawn out way back here, the idea of a new high, come down, take the lows. Nice, clean technical setup, clean invalidation. Talking about other setups here that I was preparing to take, but they haven't come yet. Reminding people as price comes up into this level that I'm still interested. I still have my long, some of that long carrying into this high on INJ. I'm still looking for this short setup if I get a nice trigger here. So just reminding people those are the trades I might be taking that day. And it's all about the process of saying, I'm planning out my trades. I have alerts set. I'm refreshing the ideas as the targets get closer, and then I'm executing those trades. And so that's the process in the live updates. All of this is covering or using concepts and building on concepts in the educational content. So we're going to take a look at that in a moment. I just wanted to look at a chart because I had an alert going off. So we have alt charts, alt trades, ETH updates, Bitcoin updates. And so here's an example. So yesterday was just pointing out that we had, so I've been talking about a couple levels that I'd be interested in shorts. This is before the New Year's. So this is down here. Still interested in a short if we push up back to these highs. This is the setup. As we push up to those highs, order flow, incredibly bullish. So I'm just explaining why that's bullish. So the order flow looks quite bullish, but has for some time. I will say my technical thesis of lower is still in play. So this is just technical thesis way back here, all through this range of putting in a low, high, and we could still break our way down. This is the structure to break. So the technical thesis is still in play, but I probably lean towards us taking the range highs. And why do I lean towards us breaking out? Because of order flow. It's just so bullish. So my technical thesis is built way before price action forms. It's still technically in play, but it's not looking particularly likely. So these are the two levels I would consider shorting around. This local resistance and the highs here if we get a nice reaction. If we just break out, then range highs. If I get short triggered locally here, I would have to call it a low confidence short. But I can just manage my risk and trade. And the trade either works or it doesn't. And I had my reactions turned off by accident in the settings, so I thought no one could see the channel, but it turns out they could. So here I'm saying as we come up, it's perfectly reasonable, in my view, to long into this breakout, because even if you have a short plan from way down here, you can use that as a hedge. You can manage this trade locally. It just makes sense. Super bullish, consolidating under resistance to long into this breakout. You could either hedge it here, you could close it here if you wanted to, carry it to the range highs. Just because you have a short planned above, it looks so bullish here, it's totally reasonable to long into this move to the upside and just use your shorts as potential hedges if you get a trigger at all. And a trigger for me would be a ping off this level, a reaction, price starts coming down. You can execute the short, but you don't have to be happy about it. And so maybe it's not a bad idea to have longs going into this. So this is a more complicated idea, which is you have a technical setup above for a short that you might be interested in taking, but there's a lot of counter ideas which are bullish. So you could long into that level. You don't have to close your long to take a short. You can have a small part of the chart that's hedge short and let the long carry on higher. So anyways, just explaining that. I said, as we head into New York Open with bullish divs, I think breakout trades seem reasonable, even if just managed locally or hedged at 1R. So just, I'm giving the example of hedging that trade at 1R with a short. The primary reason being this local consolidation below key levels on bullish absorption. I plan on taking it long and just managing it into the New York Open with loose invalidation at the previous pivot low. So just showing the loose invalidation. The targets are loose too. This is kind of where I'm looking for hedge shorts, but I'd like to carry some of this long up here, and I think it's a reasonable thing to do. So if we go back to the charts, I'll just show what this looked like for context. This is down here, right? Taking that breakout long, yes, there is a key level of resistance here. You could take the hedge short, but nice to have a breakout long into some of this bullish, these bullish ideas here. Anyways, those are the updates. Those are how they function. So you might be asking yourself, well, I don't know what any of this stuff means. What the hell is bullish ABS? What's the GP? What is all this nonsense? And so what's important to understand with these live updates is if I'm saying, let's go here. So if I'm back here and I say, I'm looking for this long setup on INJ. I've talked about this long setup. So 3 days in advance, I showed exactly what I want to see price do. As price approaches the level, I show exactly what I'm looking for. No trade taken. I've made a video. I'm reminding. Sorry, I'm reminding as price comes down to the level. I say watching here in the New York Open, looking for this setup. I'm looking for a reaction. This is what I'm looking for on a low time frame. So I'm updating every second of price as it's approaching this level in this case, right? I say GP tap, price starting to reclaim. That is my INJ long trigger. So we've taken this trade all the way from back here days ago. We have the entire plan. Prices come into the level. I'm updating every second as price is coming down, basically. And the moment I'm executing, I'm saying I'm executing. I've explained this exactly what I wanted to see. The reason I'm doing this is breaking down these concepts that are all shared on a live chart, which there's no replacement for from an educational perspective, which are all shared in the educational content. So when you become a member, it is imperative that you go through, these are about 15 to 20 minute videos, each concept individually, and the live updates are building on these concepts. I think I go the extra mile to try to make everything clear, do long write-ups on the setups and explain like, this is this concept, this is this concept. But obviously I can't cover every concept in absolute detail every time I post a chart. That is why you have this content. And then there's this kind of content too, where there's longer write-ups on things. So there's video content, longer write-ups on things, chart examples. And there's even some kind of like pop quiz stuff where you give your answer and you reveal the answer, that sort of thing. But you just have to work through this content. So why I think there's nothing quite like this out there. It could be overwhelming for some people, especially if they've never navigated Discord. The important thing to remember is that each heading is either educational content, your members channels. This is where all the members are chatting and hanging out. So like, it's not uncommon for me to wake up and there's 100 messages in here from members just chatting, or I've missed a bunch of questions that I'll try to go back and chat with the members about. I'm quite active in here. The members are sharing their altcoin charts. The members are sharing their Bitcoin charts. They have channels to talk in, to chat, and for me to chat with them in. They have a high block bot here. They can click these buttons and they get a personal channel where they get these different levels. This is in T1 members channel. The update channels are just the read-only my updates, right? General updates, Bitcoin updates. Bitcoin high time frame levels are just kind of what it sounds like. It rarely gets updated. It's a high time frame thesis. So the last time this was updated was in October, And what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for a move up. Prices around 34,000. That move up to this 50K region. This is like a interesting high time frame thesis to me. And so just I keep this updated with my kind of current primary high time frame thesis. But so people don't get lost in the daily updates. Got ETH updates, and I'm talking about the level above that I'm interested in on ETH, which is here. I'll give some updates if we approach that level. Just a high time frame structure here that has been worthwhile to keep an eye on above. But I'm going to be looking to see how price reacts to the level. Anyways, I got a lot to keep track of myself. But I set alerts. I'm pretty familiar with the ideas I'm trading, so I'm looking for just clean setups and walking people through those processes. Alt charts, alt trades, breakout trades, day trades. You get the idea. Then there's public channels and all of that. Obviously, there's actually a lower tier of membership, and almost nobody picks that. There's like hardly anybody in it, but you get access to all the educational content as well. The alpha videos, alpha slides, you just don't get access to the live updates. But the reason I wanted to do this is because there's a couple reasons. One, there's a lot of people that don't understand what Discord is. It's really just a service to organize content. They're unsure about what kind of the level of content will be. I would say this is pretty intensive, but it's very, I don't know if handholdy is the right word, but I go through the concepts, right? Like, yes, there's a lot to learn, but you can learn it because I'm clearly annotating these setups pretty clearly, right? What I'm looking for, why I'm looking for it, what's the concepts. So this is a link setup, making videos on the concepts, explaining what I like about the idea, what I don't like, what would be the trigger for me, etc. Right? So, of course, it can be a lot because if I want to trade 10 different alts potentially on different time frames, I have to update each chart or share each chart, and then update the charts as the setups approach, that sort of thing. You can also mute individual channels if you're only interested in Bitcoin, only interested in ETH. But all of this stuff is auxiliary to the educational content. So this is the complaint that I've seen a few times. I think I should make this clear. This is not a signals service. So for example, even if somebody might say, hey, this is cool, but this isn't what I thought it was. I thought I was going to be getting signals. And so, they'll have like this chart idea here. And I'll say, well, what do you think of this chart, right? So this idea of INJ coming down, taking this low, I talked about several times. I said, this is my plan, this is my entry, this is my invalidation. And then I live updated when I entered. And they're like, yeah, but I'm just kind of looking more for like long or short. And so what the problem with people like that is, I understand what they are looking for, which is, I just want to make money. I don't want to understand or learn all this stuff. It seems complicated or hard. I thought it was just going to be long this, short this. But if they don't understand, essentially this is a setup, right? It's just giving you all of the context, the why, the when you're entering, the why you're entering, the invalidation, the targets, and the explanation behind them. They think that you can just operate in the market without understanding the idea of invalidation, the idea of risk management. You're just going to get signals and you don't even have to understand what you're doing. You are going to annihilate yourself in this market. So I'm very against signals. I'm very against trading setups you do not understand because you have no idea what it's like the old saying, you don't know what you don't know. And what you don't know is that if you do that, you're going to blow yourself up over and over and over again because you live with a complete misunderstanding of what trading is. And so you think you're getting really unlucky. You followed the wrong signal. You got the wrong guy. Oh, that guy must be a scammer because he said he was long and I took a long and now I'm liquidated. Or I just lost half my account because you don't even understand what trading is. There's people, I think, that end up following you and trying to trade, they don't even understand what the little green box and red box means. Entry, stop loss. They don't understand the idea of market longing on a reclaim, those kind of things. So if you don't understand the setups you're trading, you shouldn't be trading them. If you don't have a solid foundation in trading and have built some trading history, you shouldn't be trading with significant money. That's my belief. There's no shortcuts to learning the basics. You just got to do it. There's ways to learn the basics, but I think the LATF is a great place to accelerate that learning curve, but you still got to learn the stuff, right? You still are going to have to experiment on the charts. You're going to probably want to do some paper trading, and it can be a really rewarding process, but yeah, you're doing yourself a massive disservice if you're just looking to copy signals with no understanding of the trade, learning nothing, throwing money away. It's much better to understand the concepts behind the trades, in my view. And yeah, I think this is a pretty intensive sort of way of doing things, but it's necessary. You have to go over all the concepts that you use to establish trades. You have to do live charting. You have to do live entries, because it's one thing for me to sit there and be like, well, look, 6 months ago, this coin did this, and had you long the bottom because of this, then you could have made $1 bajillion. It's all good finding things in hindsight on a chart, but to identify those concepts on a live chart before they're happening or as they're happening is a totally different game. And so I think it's important that I apply all these concepts on a daily basis to live charts. I say exactly when and why I'm going to enter, but it's not to be a signal, it's to demonstrate these concepts, right? These are the charts I'm trading, these are why, this is how I'm planning my trades, this is how I'm executing my trades. And I think people generally find it incredibly beneficial. I have some incredible testimonies in the LATF and some really long-term members. And I know this is a long video, but just wanted to do a full breakdown of what the Discord is. So there's no, I don't know. I've been told by quite a few members who have joined, they say tons of Discord communities, that this is quite unlike anything else out there. And I don't know. But they say, they've been in this Discord, this Discord, this Discord, and there's no one that goes to the extent I do and with the value I do. So I don't know if that's true or not. I do know I work hard, and it's because I work hard in my personal trading as well. And so I'm trying to make the Discord an extension of that. So all the work preparation, all the things I'm doing, I'm trying to share that with everybody and share that process because I think you have to be patient. You have to have well-prepared trades. You have to use risk management. All the things that I'm thinking about on a daily basis, I'm trying to translate to everybody here. So anyways, hopefully that's helpful. I know this video was long. I know people are curious about what exactly is going on in the LATF Discord.